On a cold February night in 1855, the people of Devon, England, tucked themselves into bed, unaware of the mystery that awaited them at dawn. As the first light of day crept over the horizon, a strange sight began to reveal itself across the snow-covered countryside. Footprints, but not just any footprints. These were no ordinary tracks. They were cloven, like those of a hoofed animal, yet unlike any known to the villagers. They stretched for miles, over rooftops, across rivers, through walls, as if no barrier could contain them. The locals were terrified, whispering among themselves in fear and confusion. For how could any creature leave such marks? Some said it was the work of an unknown animal. Others believed it to be the footprints of the devil himself. This is the story of the devil's footprints, a mystery that has lingered in the minds of those who've heard it, leaving them to wonder what really happened on that cold winter's night. It was the morning of February 9th, 1855, when the first reports came in. Across the quiet villages of Devon, a strange, winding trail of footprints had appeared in the fresh snow. These prints weren't just confined to one area. They stretched for miles, meandering through towns, fields, and forests. The footprints were cloven, as if left by a two-legged creature with hooves. Each track, about 4 inches in length and 2/3 in width, was exactly 8 inches apart. But what made them truly unsettling was their impossible path. These prints climbed up walls, crossed over rooftops, and even traversed rivers, as though no obstacle could stop whatever made them. Eyewitnesses were baffled. How could such a trail exist? In some places, the prints seemed to pass right through solid objects, as if the creature had simply phased through them. And yet, they continued in a straight line, uninterrupted by any of the barriers that stood in their way. As the day went on, more and more people discovered the prints, each new sighting adding to the growing sense of unease. Rumors began to spread. Some said it was an animal, perhaps a donkey or a deer, while others whispered that these were the very marks of the devil himself. By nightfall, the entire region was gripped by fear. What kind of creature could leave such tracks? And why had it chosen that night to reveal itself? The mystery deepened, with every passing hour leaving the people of Devon with more questions than answers. As word of the devil's footprints spread, people couldn't help but wonder what on earth, or maybe beyond it, could have created such strange tracks. Theories started flying around, each one trying to make sense of something that just didn't seem to add up. Some folks thought it might be something as simple as an animal, a stray donkey, a deer, maybe even a badger. But here's the thing. How does a deer walk in a perfectly straight line for miles, across rooftops and rivers, without missing a step? And how does any animal pass through solid walls like a ghost? Then there were those who blamed hopping animals, like rats or badgers, whose footprints got stretched and distorted by the snow. It sounds logical at first, but when you think about the sheer distance and the exactness of those prints, it starts to feel like this explanation is stretching the truth a bit too. But not everyone was convinced it was something so ordinary. In those days, talk of the devil wasn't uncommon, especially in rural areas like Devon. Some began to whisper that these footprints were a sign, a dark presence that had visited them in the dead of night. It wasn't just the shape of the prints that scared them, but the idea that something otherworldly had walked among them. This idea caught on, fueled by fear and superstition. The thought that the devil himself had left these marks was terrifying, but in a strange way, it almost made sense to them. After all, what else could leave a trail like that? But as time went on, other theories started popping up. Some people thought it might have been a hoax, someone with the tools and the know-how to pull off such an elaborate trick. Others wondered if there was a natural explanation, a rare weather phenomenon maybe, that reshaped ordinary footprints into something extraordinary. Despite all the theories, natural, supernatural, and everything in between, none of them quite fit the bill. The devil's footprints have stayed a mystery, a riddle that refuses to be solved. And that leaves us with the big question: was this some freak occurrence of nature, a prank that got way out of hand, or something else that we're just not ready to understand? So, after all this, we're left with a story that's as strange and unsettling as it was when those footprints first appeared. A mystery that's been talked about for over 100 years and still hasn't given up its secrets. Because sometimes it's not the answers that keep us up at night, it's the questions. If this tale sent shivers down your spine and left you wanting more, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you won't miss the next eerie story. And if you enjoyed this one, a like would be very appreciated. So, as you lay your head down tonight, think about those prints in the snow and wonder, what would you have done if you'd woken up to find them leading right to your door? Good night.